What are our expectations, Nate?
Expectations are greatness. And I know people at home are saying, Nate, well, he's a rookie, he's young, and, we didn't expect him to go #1 overall, but people didn't expect him to do what he did in college. And I want you to understand how players think. Whatever you do in college, what I've always told these young rooks is that you're going up against the same exact players. The only thing that's different is they're professionals now, and they're getting paid more money. So he's going to go in as confident as he's ever been. Now, the expectations are greatness. What's going to happen is a different story. What's surrounding him is going to help him be either great, average, or below that and not fulfill those expectations.
And Njoku, Gordon,
running game,
Landry.
passing game, offensive line in front of him. And on top of that, he's going to have to beat out 2 quarterbacks.
Sure.
Now, right now, he is a solid number 2. He's sandwiched right in between Tyrod Taylor and Drew Stanton. He could go out there and outplay Tyrod, but in the same breath, I can honestly say he can get outplayed by 2 quarterbacks that's been in this league for a long time.
Sure.
We got to see what happens this summer.
We raised the question, I think it was Peter earlier in the week. He's always had the motivation, the chip. Now that you're the #1 overall pick, what is the slight against you? What is driving you? I think what's driving you is starting and getting the starting gig early. You're going to sit behind Tyrod Taylor? No.
Yeah.
And here's the fact is, they open at home against Pittsburgh. That is sexy as hell. That could be a coming-out party for Baker Mayfield. This is the guy who went through the line in the draft and said, I'm not going past #5. Does he go to Hugh Jackson and say, I'm not starting past week #1? That, to me, is going to be everything for him. Does he want to start? How bad
I
does
think
he
he's
get
starting by week 4.
Week 4, but not week 1. It could be week 1.
Okay, predictions.
We were on the NFL
Watch
Network.
out, Miss Cleo over
We were
here.
on the NFL Network yesterday, and Dak Prescott joined us. And I said to Dak, being a 4th-round pick, does that feel you? He goes, every single day. I know the names of every quarterback. Baker Mayfield's whole lead-up to the draft was disrespectful. Everyone disrespected, criticized, undervalued. He's now the #1 pick. He's wearing a shirt that says "Walk On." You're the #1 pick, dude. This whole competitive thing, it has to start now. Like, it wasn't to build to this. So how much more competitive? Because he's got to now do a ton of work because guess what? Tyrod Taylor, all this talk of how competitive Baker Mayfield is and no one's ever alpha. Tyrod Taylor's competitive too, and Drew Stanton, they're competitive too.
Tyrod was a backup for a long time.
This is not the first competitive person to ever play NFL football.
Back.
It starts now. So this competitive fire, it was great to get him to this point. He now needs to find another gear, and I don't doubt that he has
Why
it.
can't he just do the same thing he's
'Cause he
always
can't
been doing
cruise,
his
'cause
entire
he cannot
life?
cruise right now.
He's never cruised. Why would you?
This is
why would he,
a guy who got
been added to him.
He has
You're
got
right.
a lot going against him
He
right
doesn't
now.
have to go into another gear. He has to just be who he is, and that inherently is a guy who faces adversity, wears it on his sleeve.
I guess. I think you need to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I need to now. I do think so. I think the NFL is a different deal than getting the starting job at
Everybody's
Texas
got to raise
Tech.
his game.
He absolutely has to raise his game, and he has to realize that everyone is now coming for him. He's the #1 pick. It's on top of all that. So
He said he's going to save Cleveland.
he's going to save Cleveland. He's going to turn the franchise around. That stuff looks stupid if you don't, and if you don't keep up to that #1 pick status. It's one thing to be an undrafted guy and want it and always need it. To be the #1 pick is an incredible burden. The #1 pick of a draft that Cleveland has traded 3 drafts to get to.
And they passed on all those quarterbacks.
This is like the real challenge. Now, how do you take it to the next level and become justified at that #1 pick?
I understand what you're saying. I just don't. I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about Baker Mayfield cruising or being like, all right, got my draft tab. This has been fun. No, I think that naturally that's who he is. I don't think he has another gear. I think that's just, it's all the way in.
And for people at home, I know I have to kind of remind them because now they just see the #1 draft pick, but this man is a phenomenal passer, and he's great in the pocket, and efficiency is key. And here's the thing. When he drops back in that pocket, if he is protected and he has to extend the play, it's not just about him delivering the ball as an undersized quarterback. It's where he places the ball on the receiver's body. That's what makes him special. The question is not, is he going to be competitive? Like you said, every single player in the league is competitive. It's how much can you improve now? I don't care about you being a walk-on. Take the sweater off, Baker. Put that in your dorm room with the Heisman Trophy. How much more can you improve from college? Because college was great. You played against top-level competition. But let me tell you this. These DBs, these linebackers, these defensive linemen in the league, they're so much better than what you faced.
Yeah, the question isn't going to be, is he going to be competitive? Is he going to be good?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we are so accurate. Let's go against some NFL defense in that first training camp when you're running with the threes, and we'll see how good he is.